Listen, chosen one, what I'm about to tell you isn't theory. It's not metaphor. Right now, at this exact moment, your miracle is racing toward you at speeds you can't comprehend. But here's the thing most people miss. The closer it gets, the stranger your reality becomes. The signs aren't subtle anymore. They're screaming at you through every crack in your daily life. And if you're not paying attention, you'll miss the moment everything changes. You've been waiting. I know. You've held on when every logical reason told you to let go. You've pushed through nights that felt endless, mornings that brought no relief, and days that blurred into grey static. But something kept you moving. Something whispered that your breakthrough wasn't just coming. It was inevitable. That whisper, it was right. And the 7 signs I'm about to reveal prove that your miracle isn't someday or eventually. It's now. It's close enough that reality itself is bending to make room for it. Before we dive in, do this. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment saying, "I am ready." Not because it's some ritual, but because that declaration, that simple acknowledgement, sends a ripple through your consciousness that aligns you with what's coming. Consider it your signal to the universe that you're awake, aware, and willing to receive. Now let's get into it. Sign 1. Time doesn't make sense anymore. You know what I'm talking about. You glance at the clock. It's 3:47 p.m. You blink, go back to what you were doing, and when you check again, expecting maybe 10 minutes to have passed, it's 3:49, 2 minutes. But you could swear you lived through 20, or the opposite happens. You sit down for what feels like 5 minutes, and suddenly an hour has evaporated. Time used to be reliable. It flowed in one direction at one speed. Not anymore. This isn't just about being distracted or tired. This is your personal timeline fracturing because your miracle exists outside the normal flow of time, and as it approaches, it's warping the fabric of your days. Think of it like this. When something massive enters a space, everything around it has to shift. Your miracle is so significant, so life-altering, that time itself is rearranging to accommodate its arrival. You might catch yourself in déjà vu, moments that hit harder than usual. You'll hear someone say something, and a chill runs through you because you've heard those exact words before. Not yesterday, not last week, but in a dream you barely remember. Or you'll walk into a room and freeze because you've stood in this exact spot, feeling this exact feeling, seeing this exact light coming through the window, but you have no memory of when. These aren't just mind tricks. These are moments where your future is bleeding backward into your present, leaving traces like footprints in wet concrete. Some of you are having full-blown visions now. Not dreams, visions. You're sitting in traffic, or washing dishes, or lying in bed, and suddenly you're somewhere else. You see a place you've never been. You see yourself doing something you haven't done yet. You see faces you don't recognize, but somehow know are important. These flashes come fast, like lightning, illuminating a dark room for a split second, but they leave impressions that stay with you for hours or days. Your logical mind tries to dismiss them. Stress, imagination, exhaustion. But deep down, you know better. You know these glimpses are real. They're previews. They're your consciousness reaching forward and grabbing hold of moments that haven't happened yet in linear time, but already exist in the place where your miracle lives. Here's where it gets intense. Your memories are glitching. You remember conversations that others swear never happened. You recall events with crystal clarity, but when you try to verify them, the details don't line up. It's not that your memory is failing, it's that you're remembering things from parallel timelines, alternate versions of your path that almost happened or did happen in different iterations of reality. This sounds wild, I know, but stay with me. When your miracle is this close, the walls between possible realities get thin. You start picking up on versions of yourself that made different choices, lived different outcomes. These aren't hallucinations, they're expansions of awareness. You're seeing beyond the single thread of time you used to be locked into. And then there are the repetitions. You'll experience the same moment twice in one day. A stranger says the exact same phrase to you at noon, and then again at 7 p.m. A song plays 3 times on different stations within an hour, and each time it hits during a lyric that speaks directly to your situation. You see the same number sequence everywhere, on receipts, license plates, clocks, page numbers. This is reality stuttering. It's the universe glitching like corrupted software because the code is being rewritten in real time to align with your miracle's arrival. People around you might not notice any of this. They move through their days in straight lines while you're zigzagging through time distortions. This makes you feel isolated, even crazy. You might start questioning your sanity. Don't. The reason you're experiencing this, and others aren't, is because you're the one standing at the convergence point. You're the lightning rod for this miracle. So you feel the electrical charge building in the atmosphere while everyone else just comments on the weather. Pay attention to what you're doing when these time anomalies hit. If you're making a decision, if you're about to speak, if you're choosing between paths, those are the moments being highlighted. The time distortions are markers telling you this choice matters more than you realize. This moment has weight. Whatever you decide here ripples forward in ways that affect the entire timeline. So when time gets weird, pause, breathe, feel into the moment with every sense you have. Your miracle is close enough now that it's sending shockwaves backward through time to guide you toward it. One more thing about time. You're going to start feeling like you're running out of it. There's this urgency building in your chest, this sense that something huge is about to happen, and you need to be ready, but you don't know how to prepare. That urgency isn't fear, it's alignment. Your internal clock is syncing with the arrival of your breakthrough, and your entire being knows, on a level deeper than thought, that the window is narrowing. Not because you're going to miss it, but because you're about to step through it. The pressure you feel is the pressure of a door about to open. Time doesn't work the same for you anymore, because you're not living in the same dimension of time everyone else is. You're straddling 2 realities, the old one you're leaving and the new one you're entering. The miracle exists in the new reality, and it's pulling you forward so hard that the old timeline is stretching, warping, losing its grip on you. This is exactly what it feels like when your miracle is close. Time becomes fluid, malleable, unstable. It's a sign you're transitioning. And transition, by definition, means you're no longer where you were, but not yet where you're going. You're in between. And in that in-between space, time does whatever the hell it wants. Sign 2. Everyone around you is acting strange. You've noticed it. People who used to be warm toward you are now cold. Friends who called every week suddenly ghost you. Family members who supported you start questioning everything you do. Colleagues who used to collaborate with you now compete or undermine. It's like someone flipped a switch and the people in your orbit changed overnight. You're not imagining this. It's real, and it's one of the clearest signs that your miracle is approaching. Here's what's happening. Your energy is shifting. You're vibrating at a different frequency now, and that frequency is making people uncomfortable. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because your rising energy exposes things in them they don't want to face. Your presence is holding up a mirror, and they don't like what they see. Some of them will pull away because they sense you're outgrowing the version of reality they're comfortable with. Others will lash out because your growth reminds them of their stagnation. And a few, pay attention to this, are being used by forces that want to slow you down. I'm not talking about conspiracy theories. I'm talking about something much more subtle and much more real. There are energies. Call them what you want. Negative entities, low-frequency vibrations, spiritual interference that feed on stagnation, fear, and limitation. Your miracle threatens their food source. If you break through, if you rise, if you step into your power, you become a beacon that others will follow. You become a crack in the dam. And the forces that benefit from people staying small, confused, and powerless do not want that. So they work through the people closest to you. They don't possess people in some dramatic, obvious way. They influence. They amplify existing doubts, insecurities, jealousies. They whisper suggestions that sound like the person's own thoughts. Why is she changing? What makes him think he's so special? Maybe I should distance myself. Maybe I should say something to bring them back down to earth. And the person acts on those thoughts without realizing they're being nudged. Suddenly, your best friend is making snide comments. Your partner is more critical than usual. Your sibling is bringing up old wounds for no reason. These aren't random mood swings. These are targeted disruptions designed to destabilize you right before your breakthrough. Some people will betray you during this phase. It hurts. It feels personal. But understand this, they were always going to betray you. The approach of your miracle just accelerated the timeline. It forced them to show their true colors now instead of later. This is actually a gift, even though it doesn't feel like one. You're being cleared of people who would have sabotaged you from the inside once your miracle arrived. Better to lose them now, while you still have the chance to rebuild your foundation, than to carry them into your new reality where they do real damage. Watch for the ones who suddenly need you more than ever. They're in crisis. They're overwhelmed. They need your help constantly. At first, you help because you care, but then you notice a pattern. Their crises always seem to peak right when you're about to make progress. You're about to start a new project. Suddenly, they have an emergency. You're feeling strong and focused. Suddenly, they need hours of your time to process their drama. This isn't coincidence. This is energetic vampirism. And whether they realize it or not, they're being used as drains to deplete your resources before your miracle arrives. Not everyone acting strange is an enemy. Some people are pulling away because they sense you're about to change in ways they can't follow, and they're protecting themselves from the pain of watching you leave them behind. That's sad, but it's also fair. You can't drag people into a reality they're not ready for. Your miracle is yours. It's tailored to your frequency, your journey, your destiny. Not everyone gets to come. And the ones who are meant to stay will stay, not by force, not by convincing, but by resonance. They'll match your new frequency naturally, or they'll reveal that they never could. Then there are the ones who change in the opposite direction. People who barely knew you suddenly show up offering help. Strangers strike up conversations that lead to opportunities. Someone you met once years ago reaches out at the perfect time with the perfect resource. These aren't accidents either. These are your real allies, some you knew, some you didn't, being activated. As the old circle dissolves, a new one forms. This new circle is stronger, more aligned, more genuine. These people don't drain you. They amplify you. They see what you're becoming, and they want to support it. not because they need something from you, but because they recognize you. Here's the test. Pay attention to how you feel after spending time with someone. Drained or energized? Confused or clear? Doubting yourself or more certain? Your body knows who belongs in your life and who doesn't. If you walk away from someone feeling heavy, exhausted, or second-guessing yourself, that person is not aligned with your miracle. It doesn't make them evil. It just makes them incompatible with where you're going. And you have to choose loyalty to them or loyalty to your destiny. You can't have both. The strangest part of this sign is how people seem to know things about you they shouldn't. Someone makes a comment that's way too specific. Someone asks a question that cuts right to the heart of what you've been dealing with privately. You haven't told them anything, but they're speaking like they've been reading your journal. This happens because your energy is broadcasting now. You're emitting a signal that sensitive people can pick up on. Some will use that information to connect with you genuinely. Others will use it to manipulate you. Discernment is everything right now. You might also notice people getting aggressive or confrontational for no clear reason. You walk into a room and someone you barely know starts an argument. A cashier snaps at you. A driver cuts you off and then glares like you did something wrong. These random hostilities aren't about you personally. They're reactions to the energy you're carrying. Your miracle is generating an energetic pressure wave, and people who are misaligned with higher frequencies react to it like an allergy. They get irritated, agitated, hostile, without even knowing why. You're doing nothing wrong. Your presence alone is enough to trigger them because your frequency is exposing the dissonance in theirs. This is why isolation feels necessary right now. You're not antisocial. You're not depressed. You're in a phase of recalibration, and your system knows it needs space to complete the process without interference. Solitude isn't loneliness during this phase, it's sanctuary. It's the cocoon where your transformation finalizes before your miracle breaks through. Don't feel guilty for needing distance. Don't let anyone shame you for protecting your energy. The people who matter will understand. The ones who don't understand aren't meant to be there when you emerge. The acting strange isn't going to stop until after your miracle arrives. In fact, it might get more intense as you get closer. That's how you know you're on the right track. The resistance escalates in direct proportion to the magnitude of your breakthrough. Small miracles face small resistance. Life-changing miracles face life-changing resistance. The chaos around you is confirmation that what's coming is massive. Sign 3, you're being watched from higher dimensions. You can feel it. Even when you're alone, you sense presence. Not in a creepy horror movie way, though sometimes it can feel unsettling if you're not used to it. It's more like awareness, like standing in an empty room but knowing someone just left, and the air still holds the shape of their attention. You turn around expecting to see someone. No one's there, but the feeling doesn't go away. That's because you're not being watched by anyone in the physical realm. You're being observed by beings, forces, consciousnesses that exist in dimensions layered over this one. Some of you reading this already know what I'm talking about because you've seen them. Not clearly, not in full form, but in flashes. Shadows that move against the light. Shapes in your peripheral vision that vanish when you turn your head. Figures standing at the edge of your room at night that disappear the second you focus on them. Orbs of light floating through your space. You might have convinced yourself it was your imagination or exhaustion, but deep down, you know it was real. These beings are real, and they're watching you because your miracle has put you on their radar. Who are they? That depends. Some are ancestors, your bloodline guardians who have been tracking your journey from the moment you were born, waiting for the moment you'd step into your power. They've watched you stumble, suffer, grow, and rise. They've seen every private moment, every breakdown, every time you wanted to quit, but didn't. And now, as your miracle approaches, they're drawing closer because their role shifts from passive observation to active intervention. They're preparing to step in, to guide, to protect, to clear pathways that you can't clear on your own. They're not ghosts haunting you. They're family watching over you with a focus that would move you to tears if you could see the full extent of their commitment. Others watching you are higher beings, angels, guides, ascended masters, whatever term fits your belief system. These entities operate on frequencies so high that human perception can barely touch them. But they exist, and they have assignments. Not everyone gets their attention. Most people move through life without ever registering on their radar. But you registered. Why? Because your miracle isn't just personal, it's cosmic. It has implications that ripple beyond your individual life. When you break through, when you step into your full power, you become a catalyst. Others will see what you did and realize they can do it too. You'll set off a chain reaction. These higher beings are watching because your success matters on a scale you can't yet comprehend. Then there are the neutral observers, beings who don't intervene, don't judge, don't help or hinder. They're just watching, studying. You're an experiment to them, a case study in human potential. Some of them are curious, some are recording, some are learning from your choices to apply that knowledge elsewhere in the multiverse. It might feel invasive, but here's the truth. If you've reached the level where these beings are observing you, you've already done something rare. You've broken patterns that most humans never escape. You've defied odds that were stacked heavily against you. You've accessed parts of your consciousness that most people keep locked forever. That makes you interesting. That makes you worth watching. Not all watchers are friendly. Some are monitoring you because they want your miracle to fail. These aren't demons with pitchforks. They're lower frequency entities that thrive on human suffering, limitation, and fear. Your breakthrough threatens them because every human who breaks free weakens their influence over the collective. They can't stop your miracle directly. They don't have that power, but they can watch for weaknesses, for moments when you're vulnerable, and then amplify the voices of doubt, fear, and self-sabotage in your mind. They're looking for cracks they can widen. They're hoping you'll give up on yourself right before the finish line. Here's how you know you're being watched. Your intuition is screaming at you constantly. It's louder than it's ever been. You get gut feelings about people, situations, decisions, and those feelings are almost always right. That's not just your intuition sharpening. That's you receiving downloads from your observers. The ones who are on your side are feeding you information, guiding you around traps, pointing you toward opportunities. You might think it's all coming from inside you, but the truth is, you're receiving assistance from outside your dimension. Those sudden moments of clarity, those flashes of insight that solve problems you've been struggling with for months, those aren't just you being smart. Those are transmissions. You're also being tested. The watchers need to see how you respond under pressure, how you make decisions when the stakes are high, whether you'll compromise your integrity when things get hard. These tests don't come with instructions. They look like regular life challenges. A job offer that seems perfect but feels wrong. A relationship that's tempting but misaligned. A shortcut that could get you ahead but requires you to betray your values. The higher beings are watching to see if you'll stay true to who you are or if you'll fold. Because here's the thing, your miracle comes with responsibility. It comes with power. And power in the wrong hands, or in hands that aren't ready, causes destruction. They need to know you can handle what's coming. Some of you are having experiences that go beyond feeling watched. You're having direct contact. You wake up in the middle of the night and there's a presence in your room, not threatening, but overwhelming in its intensity. You're meditating or zoning out, and suddenly you hear a voice, clear as day, giving you instructions or encouragement. You're driving, and a thought drops into your mind with such force and clarity that you know it's not your own. These aren't psychotic breaks. These are communications. The watchers are reaching through the veil because you're ready to receive now. Your frequency has risen high enough that the gap between your dimension and theirs has narrowed. They can speak. You can hear. This is preparation. They're briefing you for what's ahead. The feeling of being watched intensifies at night. That's when the physical world is quieter, when your mind is less cluttered with daily noise, when the boundaries between dimensions are thinnest. You lie down to sleep, and suddenly you're wide awake, hyper alert, sensing everything. You might feel pressure on your chest or your forehead. That's them touching your energy field, adjusting your frequency. You might hear ringing in your ears that gets louder. That's your psychic channels opening wider. You might feel waves of emotion for no reason. That's them communicating through feeling, because words can't cross the dimensional barrier as easily. Don't be afraid. They're not here to harm you. They're here because your miracle is so close now that they need to be in position to assist when the final barriers break. One of the wildest parts of this sign is synchronicity overload. You think of someone and they text you 2 minutes later. You need information, and it shows up in the next YouTube video you click on. You ask the universe for a sign, and 3 signs appear within an hour. This isn't luck. This is your watchers manipulating probability fields, bending circumstances, arranging synchronicities to confirm that you're on the right path. They can't speak to you in plain English most of the time, so they use reality itself as a language. They move pieces on the board of your life to spell out messages. Yes, this is right. No, turn around. Wait. Go now. You're not crazy. You're connected. Your dreams are also changing. They're more vivid, more symbolic, more instructional. You wake up with solutions to problems you didn't consciously think about before bed. You dream of places you've never been, but feel like home. You dream of people you don't know, but recognize on a soul level. These dreams are meetings. While your conscious mind sleeps, your higher self is being briefed by your watchers. They're showing you what's coming, preparing you emotionally and mentally, giving you the energetic blueprints of your new reality so that when your miracle manifests, it doesn't shock your system so hard that you reject it. Being watched feels vulnerable. It feels exposing. But here's the reframe. You're not being stalked. You're being supported. The fact that higher dimensional beings are investing this much attention in you means you matter. It means your life has significance beyond what you see in the mirror. It means your miracle is not just a personal blessing. It's part of a larger design. And the watchers are there to make sure nothing and no one derails it before it arrives. Sign 4. Your body is doing weird things. Your body is betraying you, or at least that's what it feels like. You're exhausted, but can't sleep. You're hungry, but nothing tastes right. You're buzzing with energy one moment and completely drained the next. Your heart races for no reason. Your head pounds even though you're hydrated. You feel tingling in your hands, your feet, your spine. Random chills run through you when the room isn't cold. You wake up at the exact same time every night, often between 3 and 4 a.m., wide awake, alert, like your body just hit an internal alarm. Something is happening to you physically, and it's not a medical condition. It's a spiritual upgrade. When a miracle this massive approaches, your physical body has to recalibrate. Think of it like installing new software on an old computer. The system has to shut down certain functions, rewrite code, expand capacity, and reboot. That's what's happening to you. Your cells are being reprogrammed. Your nervous system is being rewired. Your energy field is expanding beyond the limits of your physical form. And your body, bless it, is doing everything it can to keep up. But it's struggling because this process is intense. The exhaustion you feel isn't regular tiredness. You could sleep 12 hours and wake up feeling like you ran a marathon. That's because while your body rests, your spirit is working. You're traveling in your sleep, meeting with guides, receiving downloads, integrating massive amounts of light and information. Your physical form has to process all of that, and it's exhausting on a cellular level. You're not lazy. You're not depressed. You're in the middle of a transformation that requires more energy than your body has ever had to generate before. Your heart is one of the main areas where you'll feel this. It pounds, it flutters, it aches, not because something's wrong with your cardiovascular system, but because your heart chakra is exploding open. It's expanding to hold more love, more power, more presence. Every pang, every flutter, every strange rhythm is your heart adjusting to a higher frequency. You're learning to feel more deeply, to connect more powerfully, to operate from a place of heart-centered awareness instead of fear-based survival. That shift is physical, it's visceral, and it's uncomfortable as hell. Then there's the pressure in your head. Headaches, dizziness, that feeling like your skull is too tight for your brain. Your third eye is activating. Your crown chakra is opening. Your pineal gland is decalcifying. These are real physiological processes happening in response to your miracles approach. You're gaining access to higher perception, psychic awareness, intuitive knowing. But your brain has to physically restructure to support that. New neural pathways are forming. Old ones are being pruned. It's like construction inside your head, and construction is loud and messy and painful. But when it's done, you'll see reality in ways you never could before. The tingling and vibrations are your energy body activating. Most people's energy bodies are dormant, functional, but not fully online. Yours is waking up. You're beginning to feel the electricity that runs through you, the chai, the life force that's always been there, but now it's amplified. When you feel those sensations in your hands, that's your ability to channel energy increasing. When you feel it in your spine, that's your kundalini energy stirring. When you feel it all over, that's your entire field buzzing at a higher voltage. You're not sick, you're powering up. And then there's the sensitivity. Bright lights hurt your eyes. Loud noises overwhelm you. Crowds feel suffocating. You can't watch violent movies or listen to aggressive music anymore. Your tolerance for negativity has dropped to 0. This isn't weakness, this is refinement. Your system is becoming so sensitive that it can't handle low frequencies anymore. You're like a radio that's been tuned to a specific station. Now, you can only receive signals that match your frequency. Everything else is just static, and static hurts. This means you have to become very protective of what you expose yourself to. the wrong environments, the wrong people, the wrong content. They'll drain you in minutes. You have to curate your reality carefully now. Sleep is a battlefield. Some nights you sleep 14 hours. Some nights you can't sleep at all. Some nights you wake up every hour. Some nights you fall asleep fine, but wake up at 3 a.m. like someone shook you awake. That 3 a.m. wake up, that's called the witching hour by some, but it's also the hour when the veil between worlds is thinnest. Your guides, your higher self, your watchers, they're waking you up because that's when they can communicate most clearly. The world is quiet. Your defenses are down. Your ego is asleep. They can drop information directly into your consciousness without interference. So if you wake up at 3 a.m., don't fight it. Sit up. Listen. Meditate. Journal. Receive whatever is being offered. Your appetite is all over the place too. You might crave foods you never liked before. You might suddenly hate foods you loved. You might lose your appetite entirely or eat constantly but never feel satisfied. This is your body trying to match its vibration with your rising frequency. Certain foods carry certain energies. Heavy, processed, low vibrational foods feel wrong now because they weigh you down. You're naturally gravitating toward lighter, cleaner, higher vibrational foods, fruits, vegetables, water. Your body knows what it needs to support this transformation, and it's sending you signals. Listen to it. Some of you are experiencing physical pain that has no medical explanation. You go to the doctor, run tests, and everything comes back normal. But the pain is real. It's in your joints, your back, your neck. This is old trauma leaving your body. Emotional pain you've carried for years is stored in your tissues, and as you rise in frequency, it has to be released. The only way out is through, physically. Your body has to purge it. So yes, it hurts. Yes, it's uncomfortable. But it's not permanent. It's a clearing. And once it's done, you'll feel lighter than you felt in your entire life. Your immune system might go haywire. You get sick more often, or you get weird symptoms that don't match any known illness. Your body is detoxing, not just physically, but energetically. It's purging old patterns, old energies, old identities. Every fever, every ache, every strange symptom is part of the purge. Support your body with rest, water, gentle movement. Don't panic. You're not falling apart. You're being rebuilt. And then there's the strangest part. You look different. People tell you you're glowing. Your eyes look brighter. Your face looks softer or sharper or just different. You catch your reflection and you almost don't recognize yourself. That's because you're not the same person you were 6 months ago. Your energy has changed so much that it's affecting your physical appearance. You're literally becoming a new version of yourself. And it shows. This is the miracle beginning to break through. Not just internally, but externally. You're starting to look like the person who's about to receive everything they've been waiting for. Your body is going through hell right now because it's being prepared to carry a miracle. You can't hold that much light, that much power, that much blessing in an old vessel. The vessel has to be upgraded, and that upgrade hurts, but it's temporary. Once your miracle lands, once you step fully into your new reality, your body will stabilize. The symptoms will ease. You'll feel stronger than ever. But right now, in this transition, be patient with yourself. Rest when you need to rest. Hydrate. Move gently. Don't push. Your body is doing sacred work. Honor it. Sign 5. Symbols and patterns follow you everywhere you're seeing things. Not hallucinating, seeing. Symbols, numbers, patterns. They show up everywhere, over and over, to the point where it's impossible to dismiss as coincidence. You see 1111 on the clock. You see it on receipts. You see it on license plates. You see it as you're scrolling social media. 3 times in 1 hour. 5 times in 1 day. You start seeing other numbers too. 222, 333, 444. Or specific symbols, spirals, triangles, eyes, certain animals. They appear in places they have no business being, and they appear with timing so precise it feels like someone is deliberately placing them in front of you. That's because someone is. Well, not someone, something. The universe itself is speaking to you. Your guides are leaving breadcrumbs. Reality is glitching in your favor, dropping clues to confirm you're on the right path. These aren't random occurrences. They're communications from higher intelligence using the only language that can bridge dimensions: symbolism. Numbers are the most common because they're universal. 1111 is the awakening code. It means you're in alignment with your highest timeline. 222 means balance and trust. Things are working out even if you can't see it yet. 333 means the ascended masters are with you. 444 means protection and foundation. 555 means massive change is coming. 666, not evil, but a reminder to balance material and spiritual. 777 means you're on the right path and miracles are near. 888 means abundance is flowing. 999 means completion of a cycle. These numbers aren't arbitrary. They're frequencies encoded with meaning that your subconscious recognizes even when your conscious mind doesn't understand. But it's not just numbers. You're seeing symbols that feel ancient, primal. A spiral shows up in your coffee foam, then in the grain of a wooden table, then in a cloud formation. Spirals represent evolution. Cycles, the journey inward and outward. An eye appears in graffiti, in jewelry, in random images online. The eye represents awareness, watchfulness, the fact that you're being seen by higher forces. Triangles show up, symbolizing balance, harmony, the connection between mind, body, and spirit. Animals cross your path repeatedly. Same bird, same type of dog, same insect. Each animal carries medicine, a message specific to its nature. A crow means transformation. A hawk means vision. A dragonfly means change. A snake means rebirth. You might also see written symbols or letters that feel significant. A word jumps out at you from a billboard, and that exact word becomes relevant later that day. A phrase someone says sticks in your mind like glue, and then you see that phrase written somewhere within hours. Or you keep encountering a specific name, a street name, a character in a show, someone's username, and later you meet someone with that name who changes your life. These aren't accidents. They're markers, guideposts, the universe dropping pins on your map to show you where to turn. What drives people crazy is that these signs often don't make sense immediately. You see the symbol, you notice the pattern, but you don't know what it means. That's intentional. The meaning reveals itself when you're ready to receive it, not before. Your conscious mind might demand answers now, but your subconscious is collecting these symbols like puzzle pieces. At the right moment, they'll click together and the full picture will become clear. Trust that timing. The not knowing is part of the process. Here's where it gets eerie. These symbols sometimes appear and then vanish. You see something painted on a wall, a specific design that catches your eye. You walk past it every day for a week. Then one day you go to look at it again and it's gone, painted over. Or it was never there. Nobody else remembers seeing it. This is the veil thinning. You're catching glimpses of information that exists in a dimension slightly out of phase with this one. The symbols appear when the dimensions overlap, and they disappear when the overlap ends. You're not losing your mind. You're gaining access to layers of reality most people never perceive. The enemy hates these symbols. They try to block them, erase them, distract you from noticing them. You'll see a symbol, feel drawn to it, and then suddenly someone will call you, or a loud noise will jolt your attention away, or you'll feel an urge to look at your phone. That's interference. They don't want you reading the messages being left for you because those messages guide you toward your miracle, and they'll do anything to keep you confused. But here's what they don't understand. The more they try to block the signs, the more signs appear. It's like playing whack-a-mole with the universe. They cover one symbol, 3 more show up. They distract you from one message, 5 more arrive. The intelligence guiding you is infinitely more powerful than the forces trying to stop you. And it's relentless. It will not let you walk blind. It will not let you miss what you're meant to see. You need to start documenting these patterns. Take photos. Write them down. Create a log of every repeated symbol, number, or synchronicity. Not because you need proof. You already know it's real. But because when you review your log later, you'll see connections you couldn't see in the moment. You'll notice that the spiral showed up 3 days before a major breakthrough. You'll realize the crow appeared every time you were about to make an important decision. You'll see that 444 flooded your reality right before you met someone crucial. The patterns within the patterns will reveal themselves, and you'll understand that you've been guided with surgical precision this entire time. Some symbols are warnings. A red flag, literal or metaphorical, appears when you're about to walk into something dangerous. A stop sign shows up in an unusual context when you need to pause. A broken object appears when something in your life is about to fall apart. These aren't bad omens meant to scare you. They're alerts from your protection team saying, slow down, pay attention, reconsider, wait, heed them. The universe doesn't send warnings for fun. It sends them because it's trying to steer you around pitfalls that could delay or derail your miracle. Other symbols are confirmations. Green lights appear everywhere when you're making the right move. Doors literally open. Automatic doors trigger as you approach. Doors you thought were locked swing open when you touch them. You find money on the ground. You hear a song that perfectly captures your current emotion. A stranger smiles at you at the exact moment you needed encouragement. These are nods from the universe saying, yes, keep going, you're aligned, we've got you. And then there are the symbols that are pure magic, the ones that take your breath away because they're so perfectly timed, so impossibly specific, that there's no rational explanation. You're thinking about someone you haven't spoken to in years, and their name appears on a license plate in front of you 5 seconds later. You ask for a sign about a decision, and the next song on the radio answers your question directly. You're feeling lost, and a feather lands at your feet. Not near you, at your feet, as if placed there by invisible hands. These moments are intersections between your reality and the miraculous. They're proof that you're not alone, not forgotten, not abandoned. They're confirmation that everything happening to you is by design. The symbols will increase in frequency as your miracle gets closer. Right now, you might see them a few times a week. Soon, it'll be daily, then multiple times a day, then constantly. By the time your breakthrough arrives, your entire environment will be saturated with signs and synchronicities to the point where you won't be able to take 3 steps without encountering a message. That's not overwhelming. That's confirmation. It means the invisible world is reaching through the veil, with everything it has to keep you steady during the final approach. Don't ignore the symbols. Don't dismiss them as wishful thinking or pattern-seeking behavior. Your rational mind will try to explain them away because it can't handle the implications of what they mean. But your soul knows. Your soul recognizes the language being spoken, and your soul is begging you to pay attention because these symbols are your lifeline. They're the thread that leads you out of the maze. Follow them. Trust them. Let them guide you. They exist for one reason: to make sure you don't miss your miracle. Sign 6. Old allies are coming out of nowhere. People from your past are reappearing, not randomly, strategically. An old friend you haven't talked to in 5 years reaches out. A mentor who moved away sends you an unexpected message. A family member you lost touch with calls you. A former colleague emails you with an opportunity. At first, you think it's just coincidence or nostalgia. But then you notice the timing. They show up exactly when you need them. They offer exactly what you're missing. They say exactly what you needed to hear. These aren't accidents. These are your old allies being activated. Before you incarnated into this life, you made agreements with certain souls. You said, if I forget who I am, if I get lost, if I'm about to give up right before my breakthrough, come find me, remind me, help me. These souls agreed. They scattered across your timeline, some entering your life early, some late, some briefly. And now, as your miracle approaches, they're fulfilling their contracts. They're being called forward by forces you can't see, compelled to reach out, even if they don't consciously understand why. They just feel like they need to talk to you. They just thought about you randomly and decided to message. But it's not random. It's orchestrated. Some of these allies bring resources, money, connections, information, opportunities. You mention a problem casually, and they know someone who solves that exact problem. You're struggling with something, and they send you a resource that changes everything. They offer help you didn't ask for, but desperately need. They show up like cavalry riding over the hill right when the battle looks hopeless. This is divine timing. This is the universe moving chess pieces into position on your behalf. Others bring emotional support. They call when you're at your lowest. They text when you feel most alone. They show up in person when you're drowning. They don't necessarily fix anything, but their presence stabilizes you. They remind you of who you are. They reflect back your strength when you've forgotten it. They hold space for you to fall apart without judgment. These allies are soul family. They're here to make sure you don't break before your miracle arrives. Some bring warnings. They tell you about someone who betrayed them in a way that mirrors what's about to happen to you. They share a story that's too similar to your situation to be coincidence. They give you advice that seems random, but turns out to be exactly what you need 3 days later. These allies are scouts. They've walked parts of the path ahead of you, and they're coming back to warn you about the traps. Listen to them. Their stories aren't just stories, they're maps. And then there are the allies who don't bring anything except their presence. They reappear, and you just feel better. There's no logical reason. You didn't realize how much their energy steadied you until it's back in your field. These allies are frequency matches. Their vibration aligns with yours in a way that creates resonance, and that resonance amplifies your power. You don't need to do anything with them or get anything from them. Just being around them, even digitally, strengthens you. But not everyone who returns is an ally. Some are tests. They come back pretending to offer support, but really they're fishing for information. They want to know what you're doing, where you're going, how you're succeeding. They smile and ask questions, but underneath, there's envy, competition, or malice. These people are being sent, not by higher forces, but by lower ones, to gather intelligence, to sow seeds of doubt, to slow you down. You'll know them by how you feel. Genuine allies leave you feeling lighter, stronger, clearer. False allies leave you feeling drained, confused, uneasy. The way to tell the difference is simple. Pay attention to their actions, not their words. Real allies show up consistently. They don't need you to beg for help. They don't make you feel guilty for needing support. They don't disappear when things get hard. They don't use your vulnerability against you later. False allies do all of those things. They're present when it's convenient, absent when it's not. They help with strings attached. They remember every favor and expect payback. They're transactional. Real allies are covenantal. They're in it because of soul agreements, not because of what they can get from you. Some of your oldest, deepest allies haven't incarnated this time. They exist in other dimensions, and they're reaching out through dreams, visions, and intuitive hits. You might dream of someone who feels like the most important person in the world, but you've never met them in waking life. That's because you know them from other lifetimes, other realms. They're your spiritual team, and they're making contact now because you're finally vibrating high enough to perceive them. Don't dismiss these dreams as fantasy. They're meetings, briefings, downloads. You're being given information, strategies, and encouragement from allies who can see the full scope of what's coming in ways you can't yet. You might also feel sudden, unexplained surges of courage or confidence. Out of nowhere, you feel like you can handle anything. You feel backed by an invisible force. That's your allies, physical and non-physical, channeling energy to you. They're holding you up from the other side, pouring strength into you when your own reserves run low. This is how soul contracts work. You're never doing this alone, even when it feels like it. New allies are also entering your life now. People you've never met before cross your path with perfect timing. You strike up a conversation with a stranger and they end up changing your trajectory. You join a group and meet someone who becomes crucial to your next chapter. These new allies are different from the old ones. The old ones are here to remind you of who you were. The new ones are here to reflect who you're becoming. They see your potential. They recognize your power. They're not intimidated by your growth. They're excited by it. They match your new frequency, and together, you're going to build something that wouldn't be possible alone. Pay attention to who's showing up and who's disappearing. The people leaving are making room for the people arriving. Don't chase the ones walking away. Don't cling to relationships that are clearly ending. Let them go with gratitude for what they were and faith that something better is coming. Every exit is making space for an entrance. Every goodbye is setting up a hello. Trust the process. Your allies, old and new, physical and spiritual, are assembling around you like an army preparing for battle. Because that's what this is. Your miracle is coming. And there are forces that don't want you to receive it. But you're not fighting alone. You have backup. You have reinforcements. You have a team that's been waiting lifetimes for this moment. And they're not going to let you fail. If you're reading this and feeling isolated, understand, your isolation is temporary. It's the cocoon phase before the emergence. Your allies are on their way. Some are already here, just waiting for the right moment to reveal themselves. Others are being called in as we speak. You won't be alone for much longer. Help is coming. Support is coming. Your people are coming. Hold on just a little longer. Sign 7. Everything is about to break open. You feel it in your bones. Something massive is building. The pressure is unbearable. It's like standing under a sky that's about to crack open and pour rain. Except what's about to pour isn't water. It's breakthrough. Every sign we've talked about is pointing to the same conclusion. Your miracle is no longer a distant hope. It's here. It's at the door. It's about to break through the final barrier and flood your life in ways you can't even imagine yet. The energy around you is different now. It's electric, charged. You walk into a room and people notice. You speak and people listen. You move and things shift. That's not arrogance. That's alignment. You're vibrating at the frequency of your miracle now. And that frequency has presence. It has weight. It has power. You're becoming magnetic in a way you've never been before, attracting opportunities, people, and circumstances that match the new reality you're stepping into. But with this power comes one final test: the fear. The closer you get to your breakthrough, the louder the fear screams. It tells you you're not ready. It tells you you're going to fail. It tells you you don't deserve this. It shows you every mistake you've ever made and says, people like you don't get miracles. This fear isn't coming from you. It's coming from the part of you that knows if you step through this door, you can never go back to who you were. And change, even beautiful, miraculous change, is terrifying. You're also experiencing what I call the final breakdown before the breakthrough. Things that were stable are suddenly falling apart. Systems that were working are breaking. Relationships that were okay are exploding. It feels like your life is collapsing, right when it's supposed to be coming together. But this isn't collapse. This is clearing. Everything that can't come with you into your new reality is being forced out now. It's being destroyed so you don't carry dead weight into your miracle. It hurts. It's chaotic. It feels like the worst possible timing. But it's actually perfect timing. You're being stripped clean so you can receive with empty hands. Your internal voice is screaming at you to move, to act, to decide. There's an urgency you can't explain. A sense that if you don't do something now, you'll miss your window. That urgency is real. This is the moment. Not someday, not eventually. Now. The cosmic alignment that's creating the opening for your miracle is temporary. It's here, it's available, but it won't stay open forever. You have to step forward while the door is open. Hesitation right now is the only thing that can stop what's coming. You're going to have to make a choice that scares you. Not a small choice, a life-altering one. Quitting something, starting something, leaving someone, committing to someone, saying yes, saying no. Whatever it is, it's big, and it's going to require you to trust yourself more than you ever have. You won't have all the information. You won't have guarantees. You won't have a safety net. You're going to have to jump and trust that you'll either land safely or grow wings on the way down. That's the price of the miracle. That's the initiation. Here's what's waiting on the other side. Freedom, power, purpose, abundance, clarity, peace. Everything you've been fighting for, praying for, working for. It's all stacked up behind this door, and the door is opening. You're going to look back at this moment 6 months from now and barely recognize the person you are today. The transformation is that profound. The shift is that complete. Your life is about to change in ways that rewrite your entire story. But you have to walk through the door. No one can do it for you. Your allies can support you. Your guides can encourage you. The universe can arrange circumstances. But the final step is yours. You have to choose the miracle. You have to choose yourself. You have to choose to believe that you're worthy of everything that's about to happen. And that choice, that single decision to say yes to your destiny, is what breaks the seal. The miracle isn't coming to change your life. The miracle is coming because you already changed. You did the work. You healed the wounds. You broke the patterns. You rose from the ashes. You kept going when everything told you to quit. You became the person who could hold a miracle without destroying it or being destroyed by it. You earned this, not through suffering, but through transformation. And now the universe is about to reward you for it. Chosen one, this is your moment. Everything has led here. Every pain prepared you. Every loss cleared space. Every battle strengthened you. Every tear watered the seed that's about to bloom. You're ready. You've been ready. And the miracle knows it. If this message found you, it's not an accident. You were meant to see this. You were meant to hear this. You were meant to be reminded that you're not crazy. You're not imagining it. And you're not alone. Your miracle is real. It's close. And it's yours. Now, like this video, subscribe, and comment, "I accept my miracle." Your breakthrough starts now.